हेलो एंड वेलकम रेडियो जिंदगी लिसनर्स, सुन रहे हैं आप 1550 AM पर रेडियो जिंदगी एंड दिस इज द टाइम, एज आई ऑलवेज से, द टाइम व्हेन यू गेट योर आंसर्स. Yes, the Saket Bhatia Astrology Show is what we are starting right now, and I have Dr. Saket Bhatia with me in the studio, and this is a live show. Dr. Saket Bhatia, who has a PhD in electrical engineering with specialization in RF microelectronics, semiconductor device physics, and wireless communication. He is the founder and CEO of 2 companies in the Bay Area. और उसी के साथ he is also a PhD holder in the subject of astrology and is a certified numerologist. So अगर अभी आप सुन रहे हैं शो और टॉपिक से रेलेवेंट कोई क्वेश्चन है आपके मन में, या फिर आप कॉल करना चाहते हैं अबाउट एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू एस्ट्रोलॉजी और न्यूमरोलॉजी, यू कैन गिव अस कॉल. Studio lines will be open shortly. 510-770-1550. That's studio line का number. That's for one quick question, as I mentioned. अगर आप डिटेल में बात करना चाहते हैं about anything going on in your life, 408-639-5300. Once again, Dr. Saket Bhatia का direct number is 408-639-5300, or you can write to him info@saketbhatia.com, और या फिर उनकी वेबसाइट, which is the best source for all the information regarding him, is saketbhatia.com. With that, let's start our today's show. Hello and welcome.
Hi Vedika, how are you?
Wonderful. आप बताइए.
I am doing fine, and warm welcome to all the listeners of Radio Zindagi. It's 4:09.
Yes.
We are right on time.
जी. So आज हम अपने past week topic को continue करने वाले हैं.
This is going to be, I think, a 4-part show.
Okay.
The first part was introduction to houses and you know, some other stuff, and then we're going to build on that slowly. And what we want to do is talk about different houses. It could be a 3-part show. It's better for me. थोड़ा fast कर सकते हैं.
Let's see.
Yeah.
If I ask less questions, or if maybe we get drifted less. So जो last week, सबसे पहले तो I want to get some updates on the Varshful reports. So how many people have requested that so far? What's the score?
So we have 186 requests.
Wow.
Okay, यहाँ से, New York से, Houston से, we have, and India से actually, because the show, people from India watch my show a lot. Australia से भी है. 186 requests so far. My only request to the listeners is, it takes us time.
Be patient.
Please be patient. You know, we are getting emails कि हमने कल मेल भेजा, हमको अभी तक वर्षफल आया नहीं. Some people are like, ये तो 50 पेज की रिपोर्ट है. What should I focus on?
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. बहुत ही detailed सारे aspects.
So please give it some time. You know, it takes us also a while to build the report. Overall, it's positive. You have another 15 days before we can keep giving you more complimentary reports. But take it. Varshfal is different from astrology predictions. Varshfal is something which tells you कि sun कहाँ जा रहा है, कौन से house में, and based on that, how it's going to help your soul and how it's going to help you.
Okay.
It's a different perspective. I think you should analyze it with an open mind and see what difficulties, challenges, and what potential opportunities are going to come your way.
Definitely. And listeners, let me remind you that if you would like to request your Varshfal, आप लिख भेजिए info@saketbhatia.com. And when you're writing to Dr. Saket Bhatia, do mention your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth. जी. So let's continue the houses discussion.
तो last week हमने houses की बात की थी. We spoke about, we're gradually building this show. We're trying to explain to users and people who follow astrology what houses in astrology are. I have some notes here. I'm trying to read from it. हमने last time discuss किया था house quality, right? So angular house, trine house, succedent houses. Then we spoke about placement of planets in houses. Those were, you know, the 2 different aspects that we covered. आज हम discuss करेंगे different types of house relationships. Something different called Upachaya, Apachaya, and Dushtana houses.
Okay.
Okay. ये
Names
important.
are difficult.
No, they're very easy.
Okay.
Upachaya means something that increases. Apachaya is something which decreases.
Okay.
And Dushtana is difficult.
Okay.
There are 12 houses in astrology, right? So we'll first start with Upachaya houses. These, and I'll explain to you why they are called Upachaya houses.
Okay.
Okay. So houses जो आपके 3, 6, 10 and 11, जो कुंडली में, चार्ट में, हाउस नंबर 3, 6, 10 and 11, These are called increasing houses, which means any planet that is placed in these houses will gain strength as you grow
Okay.
older.
Oh.
Now, question is why?
Hmm.
Third house is your house of courage. It is your house of hobbies.
Hmm.
Generally, as you grow older, your
With
hobbies increase
experience,
with
yeah.
experience.
Hmm.
It is assumed that your friend circle also will increase a little bit compared to when you are a young kid. You are more selective about your friends. Your courage builds, right? इसलिए third house जो है वो build होता है.
Get stronger, yeah.
Sixth house is house of disease.
That will definitely.
As you grow older, बीमारियां भी बढ़ती हैं.
It will
So the
enhance.
planet, but again, the planet that is placed in that house will increase in strength. If it's a bad planet, it could be good for you. If it's a good planet, it won't be good for you. I'll explain why too. 10th house is your house of career. जैसे जैसे आप बड़े होते हो, that should also increase.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about people who've had a rough phase who get laid off. I'm talking more about, in general, these are houses that should increase over time, right? 11th is your house of gains. Not wealth, not property, but gains. When you have something and you've invested like a plant, आपने seed डाली है, वो grow हो रहा है, the final tree जो आता है, that is your gain. So, house number 3, 6, 10, 11 are called Upache houses because the planets grow in them. यहाँ पर planets like Sun, Saturn and Mars will do very well. ये negative planets हैं, but they still do well because they give you courage, they give you stability, they give you property. Positive planets थोड़े weak हो जाते हैं यहाँ because these are not considered the best houses.
Okay.
इनके जो lords हैं, they are not considered to be good. They are considered to be bad. Not the planet sitting, but the planet that owns these houses is considered bad.
Okay.
Because from spirituality point of view, you don't want too much gains. You don't want too many hobbies.
Okay. In that
You-
aspect.
In that aspect. So we covered the Upache house. अब हम Apache house पे आते हैं. 1, 2, 4, 7 and 8 are Apache houses.
Okay.
These are houses that decrease over time
With age.
with age. The planet also becomes weaker. One is you, your body.
Which is getting weaker with the age.
2 is your wealth, your values, the food you eat, your speech. Now you can argue and say, why does that get weaker?
Yeah.
Because जैसे जैसे आप बड़े होते हो, you have family, wealth gets distributed amongst them, right? So you can't speak the same thing that you know at age 80 that you speak when you're 16 years old. There's a little issue there. The amount of food you eat at a later stage in life is also less.
Gets affected. Yeah.
Second house छोटा हो जाता है. Fourth house is generally house of happiness. जैसे जैसे आदमी बड़ा होता है, थोड़ा happiness कम हो जाती है life में because mental state tends to be a little different. Seventh is partnership, spouse. Maybe when you're younger, you can enjoy more time outside, you can go travel, but as you get older, things change. थोड़ी बीमारियां आ जाती है, you sit more indoors.
Right.
And finally, eighth is the house of death.
Definitely.
Okay, so as you grow older, you go closer towards death. It's a line. We're all standing in line. It's all going to happen to us. You can't avoid that line. You can't step aside. Your turn will come. Right?
Yeah,
The-
I recently heard somebody saying that as I'm aging, and I realized we have been aging since the day we were born.
Correct.
So there is nothing new. We have been aging.
We are all aging. So यहाँ पर जो houses हैं, malefic planets, bad planets, do not do well in these houses. We want good planets to sit in 1, 2,
In
4,
the
7 and
decreasing
8.
house, you mean? Why? Their effect is decreasing.
अगर negative planet हो, so your life will start off only with stress. It will start off with problems.
Oh, and then
You might not even reach the stage of life you're in.
right. True.
Correct?
True.
It is better. It's like it is better to fill your car with a tank of gas and go 50 miles and say, okay, now I have to push it.
Yes.
Then when you're young, you have to push your car and then fill 50
Absolutely.
gallons in
Makes
that.
sense. Yes.
And finally, we have the Dushtana houses. Dushtana means difficult. 6, 8 or 12. These three houses are called the Dushtana houses because 6 is disease, 8 represents death, and 12 means letting things go. Now, 8 is not necessarily just death. One house can mean many things.
Yeah.
8 also means inheriting property. 8 is your inner desires that you're not able to give to the outside world, and 8 is also your there are so many different things I don't want to say here, but one house can represent thousands of different things, and we want to
Right.
get into that. So bad planets in the 6th house are actually considered good, but वो फिर भी disease देते हैं. अगर केतु आपका छठे घर में बैठ गया, it's considered good, but good for power, but still he's going to give you problems. Saturn अगर आपके 8th house में बैठ जाए, gives you a long life.
Okay.
The exception to this rule is Venus. 12th house is a house of letting go. It's a house of loss. Any planet sitting in the 12th house is considered to be significantly weakened. Venus अगर बैठ जाता है, it brings you fame, luxury, lots of happiness in life.
In 12th house.
In 12th house. और अगर Venus exalted हो या Venus मूल त्रिकोण में राहु के साथ बैठ जाए, you'll be very famous, you'll have everything, every desire in life, no option, there's no questions, you will have it, period.
Okay.
So this is what, these houses are important because when we look at them, we understand in general how your overall body structure is going to be, your health, your wealth, happiness, वो पता चलता है हमें. So these are the four, three important subgroups of the houses.
So it's like entire life's graph. You can get how it's going to be.
Almost.
Where will be the declination? Where will be the inclination?
Almost. हमको पता चल जाता है just looking at your chart and these houses. Now we're still trying to build on things. We're still not hitting the nail on the hammer, which is, is explaining the houses and details.
Okay.
वो हम कर रहे हैं अभी.
जी.
So the houses are difficult points because they are the places of transitions. If you look at the houses carefully, 7th house is very critical because ये छठे और आठवें घर के बीच में आता है. 6th is disease. 8th, like I said, is death. So 7th has to be very carefully studied. It is your partner.
Yeah.
It is your relationship. It is your business partnership. Be careful when you study that.
So 6th you said is of disease. Even it's for kids, right?
No, 5th is for kids.
5th is for kid. Okay. Okay.
In astrology, there's a concept called Bhavat Bhavam, from house to house. So अगर हम कहते हैं your 5th house is children, 5th from the 5th house should also be studied to get a better understanding of your kids.
From the 5th house?
Yeah,
What
5th
does that
from
mean?
5th. पांचवें घर से
अच्छा,
पांचवा घर.
पांचवा, okay. Next
If we
step.
want to study your wealth, we study your 2nd house. Second से second भी पढ़ो.
Okay.
So in astrology, when we study houses, the starting house is always called 1. So if I were to study the 2nd from the 2nd, it would be 3rd house.
Right.
Not the 4th, but the 3rd house. 4th from the 4th would be the 7th house, not the 8th house. So this is what we have to see. When you study a chart, study from the Ascendant, study from the moon,
Yeah.
and study this Bhavat Bhavam, which is very important.
Okay.
Study the aspects on the house, study the lord of the house, and study the planet sitting in the house, and you will get good results. You will be able to get perfect results if you follow the rules.
So, but with so much calculations, like a question just popped in my mind. How much time it took you to totally get the grasp of the subject?
It takes decades. It doesn't take months. It doesn't take
Absolutely,
years.
it
It takes
must have.
decades. It's just like a lawyer, doctor, right? It's a field of practice. You keep analyzing, you keep studying. Opening a book is good. Reading charts in the book is good. Going on YouTube, watching videos is good. You'll always learn something. You can't just ignore. Right? Logo ka padho what they've done.
Right.
There are thousands of books out there which we have, which we just keep going through. And I keep telling you, the International Association of Vedic Astrology and Numerology has in its database, I don't know, maybe 250,000, 500,000, 1 million different charts.
Right.
We can analyze any of those charts. We can go back and see. In fact, we now have a repository where we can take your chart, plug it in, and it will bring up the second closest chart to your chart.
Oh.
And with that, we get some sort of analysis,
Relevance,
which says how close you are. So we get more confidence in our own readings.
Oh, it's like case studies.
Case studies, exactly. And
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to say independent astrologers is good. But if you're part of an organization, it helps you more because you have the backing of an organization with you.
Data, more knowledge, more people on your team, definitely.
You have people correcting you if you're wrong. You can always go to individuals if you need to ask questions. And we are a collective team that meets twice a week. It's not like we talk once a month. हफ्ते में 2 बार बात होती है, emails exchange होते हैं, so we get guidance.
See, we got drifted away, as I said. I get curious. So, after this, I would like to know that in your opinion, what are the 4 goals of life?
So the 4 goals of life are: you're born, you have to work hard to make your income, you have to spend that income, and then you have to give up everything that you have in life because you have to start the next chapter. So based on that, the 4 goals are: first, dharam hota hai, which is based on house 1, 5 and 9.
Okay.
Dharam is basically your life. 5th house is creativity, intelligence. 9th house is spirituality. ये आपका धर्म है. What is your purpose in life? Why are you here? Why were you born in your family? Why do you have that set of parents, that spouse, those kids? Why have you suffered in life? Why have you had good luck in life? This is all dharam. There is a reason you're here. 5th house is also called the house of past benefits. पिछले जन्म में आपने जो किया, look at your 5th house. If it has good planets, you've taken good deeds from last birth and this birth. अगले जन्म में क्या होगा? Look at your 9th house.
Okay.
Right? So dharam ये है. Now once you're on earth, you have to work hard, you have to make resources meet, right, for yourself. You have to make money, you have to fulfill desires for your family, you have to support people. That is what we call earth, which is house 2, 6 and 10.
Okay.
2 is wealth. 6 is not just disease, it is also people service.
Earth is money basically.
Money.
Yeah.
Uske baad the 3rd is kama, which is house number 3, 7, 11, desires. What do you want in life? You want to travel, you have hobbies, you want to spend on luxuries, you want to spend on businesses, you want investments. क्या चाहिए आपको?
That is also one of the goals.
That is the goal of life. If you are making some money, learn to spend it.
Okay.
If you're just going to stinge on it, it's not going to help you. But there are people we know, we can see in the charts, they will collect their money, but they won't spend, and that's okay. हर एक का purpose होता है.
जी.
In astrology, there is no right and wrong. It is just you.
Unique. Yeah.
You are unique. आपकी जो है life वो आपकी है.
जी.
We are not here to judge. Nobody can judge you. And finally, there is house 4, 8 and 12, which is moksha,
Spirituality.
spirituality. The 4th shows your peace and happiness. The 8th is the struggles you'll go through in life. And the 12th is how we negate ourselves so we can arrive at the next destination.
Okay.
ये 4 goals हैं
That
life
summed
के.
up everything.
I'm trying to make it very easy for the listeners. So they understand that, okay, this is what astrology is, this is who an astrologer is, this is the purpose of astrology, and then what are the next steps. That's what we wanted to do.
And that gave us some clarity. I'm sure listeners जो हमें सुन रहे हैं उन्हें भी थोड़ी clarity मिली होगी इस बारे में. And if you would like to know more about it, or if you have any questions about the topic we are discussing right now, you can definitely give us a call. Now the studio lines are open, 510-770-1550. That's the studio line number, 510-770-1550. Or if you have any particular question about astrology and you're calling for that, be ready with your date, time and place of birth. And if you have any numerology related question, then also you can give us a call. As I mentioned, studio number once again is 510-770-1550. Dr. Saket Bhatia को शो के बाद कॉल करना चाहते हैं for a detailed consultation, 408-639-5300. That's his direct number. वेबसाइट है उनकी saketbhatia.com और ईमेल कर सकते हैं आप उन्हें info@saketbhatia.com. जी.
So, the purpose of our show is not to make you an astrologer. It is to educate you on what astrology is. What are the principles of astrology? So when you look at your chart or when you meet an astrologer, you can at least ask the right questions. Asking the question, when will I get married, is a partial question. It's not correct, it's not wrong. The correct question can be, who will I meet? How will my life be with my partner? How will our finances be? When will we have kids? How will we enjoy life as a whole? How will our health be? These are the things you have to ask. So one of the things I want to do is to make sure you're clear on that. After you hear this show, you should get a general consensus and understanding of what your life is. Where is it headed? Why are you here? And how astrology and an astrologer can guide you in that path. हमें ये करना है इस show के through.
And I
Guidance.
hope we are trying to do that.
I'm getting lots of emails.
जी.
हर एक show के बाद, when I come for the next show, I am getting at an average more than 25 to 30 emails from listeners of the radio show giving me feedback, telling me we like this, we did not understand this.
Okay.
जिनको नहीं समझ आता, we send them an email, फिर नहीं समझ आता, we call them and explain them.
Okay.
But at a bare minimum 25 to 30 emails आते हैं, calls भी आते हैं कि we like this, please next week talk about this. So that's
जी.
what we're talking.
And I think overview, which was I think the basic aim, that is कि वो जो डर है, वो जो एक लोगों की झिझक है, हिचकिचाहट है in knowing what their future holds or what astrology is going to tell us, so वो खत्म हो रही है. That's a good part.
It's always nice to know rather than not know.
Absolutely.
I don't like to live a life just full of surprises. हाँ, कोई चीजों में surprises अच्छी होती हैं,
जी.
but not in everything, not in everyday life.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. So we have a caller waiting. Can we quickly take the call?
Sure.
Hello, you're on air with Dr. Saket Bhatia.
हाँ जी भाटिया जी,
नमस्ते
नमस्ते सर जी।
जी, आपका नाम?
मेरा नाम करनैल सिंह है जी।
ओके, करनैल सिंह जी, हाउ कैन आई हेल्प यू?
हेल्प ये है कि जेब में पैसा नहीं रुकता तो घर से निकलते हैं तो बेइज्जती होती है, घर में बढ़ती है तो बेइज्जती होती है काम।
So is your question about your finances?
यस, फाइनेंशियल।
जी, तो आप अपना डेट, टाइम एंड प्लेस ऑफ बर्थ बताइए.
दिसंबर 15, 1962।
एंड प्लेस?
प्लेस पंजाब, होशियारपुर, पंजाब।
ठीक है। और आपकी टाइम ऑफ बर्थ?
टाइम ऑफ बर्थ
या
ये तो हमें भी नहीं मालूम। हमारी दादी बोलती थी कि उस समय ना बारिश हो रही थी।
ये बारिश तो कभी सुबह होती है, रात को भी होती है। अगर
तो
आप
सुबह बोलती, सुबह हो रही थी, बारिश का टाइम था।
नहीं, देखिए, विदाउट टाइम ना एस्ट्रोलॉजी में बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि अगर टाइम नहीं हो तो चार्ट चेंज हो जाती है हर 2-2 घंटे में, एंड फिर रिजल्ट गलत आएगा। वो ना आपको
वो बोलते थे कि रात को 12 बजे के बाद का जन्म है।
12 बजे के बाद तो बहुत सारे घंटे आ जाते हैं. सो आई थिंक विदाउट द पर्टिकुलर टाइम, आई थिंक डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया वोंट बी एबल टू हेल्प यू.
आप ऐसा कीजिए, आपके पास हमारा नंबर है, आप ऑफिस में फोन कीजिए। आपकी एक लेट्स गेट एटलीस्ट एक टाइम तो निकालते हैं, आपको क्वेश्चंस पूछ के आप कब आए थे, फैमिली में क्या है, रिलेशंस, हेल्थ इश्यूज, उसके बेस पे हम बना सकते हैं अप्रोक्सीमेट चार्ट। लेकिन यहाँ पर रेडियो पे नहीं होगा क्योंकि टाइम शॉर्ट है ना।
ठीक है, तो आप चार्ज कितना करते हो? जब भी अगर हम अपॉइंटमेंट बनाएंगे तो आपके पास आएंगे, आपका फीस क्या है?
सर आई थिंक आप ऑफिस में कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. अभी कॉलर्स वेट कर रहे हैं. आई एम सो सॉरी. मैं ऑफिस का नंबर एक बार आपको फिर से दे देती हूँ. 408-639-5300. वंस अगेन डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया को डायरेक्टली कॉल कीजिए आप 408-639-5300 पे. वी हैव अनदर कॉलर वेटिंग.
श्योर.
Hello, you're on air with Dr. Saket Bhatia. Go ahead with your details.
Yeah, I'll give the details and then I'll go offline. I don't have much battery on my phone. I'm calling for my sister, जो India में date of birth is 25th December 58.
1968?
58.
58.
58. और सवेरे I think 12:35 in the morning.
12:35 in the morning, December
Yeah.
25th, 1958.
Yes.
सिस्टर का नाम?
Place is Vijayawada
And what's her name?
in Andhra Pradesh, Sheetal.
Sheetal. And what's your question?
Question is, I want to find out how is her health going to be. She's having some health issues. I'll take the call offline. Thank
Okay,
you.
Sure.
Vijayawada. So she has health issues. Let's see, health के लिए जैसे हमने कहा था, देखिए पूरी चार्ट तो हम पढ़ नहीं सकते अभी because we're a little low on time. If we look at her overall chart, Mercury जो है sitting in an enemy sign which is the ascendant lord. Navam's chart में everything looks okay. Moon is exalted, that's good. 11th house, याद है हमने कहा था 11th house is what we need to study. 11th lord Saturn is sitting in the 4th, but he's sitting with Sun. हमें पता है Sun will cause some problems. वो Jupiter के साथ बैठे. I don't think there is much of a health issue as such. I don't see much. Maybe I'm wrong. Saturn की direct दृष्टि पड़ती है अपने घर पे, but अभी Saturn की दशा तो आई नहीं है. There is a Mercury Venus dasha which is the ascendant lord. It should not be that much of a problem. She should be fine unless there is something else I'm not able to see. Jupiter is not debilitated. He is aspecting the 11th house. He keeps Saturn under check. I don't think there is any significant issue as such in this chart. Galika Mandi जो है वो third house में benign effect देते हैं. So if there's any health issue, it should be resolved unless 2025 में February when slight problem हो सकता है, but that will only last about 10 months. I would not put too much emphasis. She should be fine, hopefully. Not much of an issue.
I hope you got your answer, and if you have anything else to discuss with Dr. Saket Bhatia, do call him directly 408-639-5300. Once again, the number to reach Dr. Saket Bhatia is 408-639-5300.
But just for this other lady also, Saturn happens to sit in the house of disease today for this individual, which is the 6th house. वो transit में अब निकल जाएगा in Pisces. I think this lady will have lots of relief coming her way. If she has any issues, lots of relief coming her way about a year from today. Things will get better.
That sounds good, yes.
But again, February 25 to December 25 might be ups and downs, but after that I don't see any problem for her. Okay?
Sure, and as I was reminding all the listeners that you can write to Dr. Saket Bhatia if you have any question or if you would like to discuss anything, info@saketbhatia.com. Once again, it's info@saketbhatia.com, and the website is by the first and last name, which is saketbhatia.com. So listeners, abhi hum sun rahe hain the Saket Bhatia Astrology Show, and we are talking about houses in astrology today. But if you have any other astrology or numerology related question, one quick question, you can definitely give us a call. We have around 25 more minutes in the show. 510-770-1550. That's the studio line number. If you have any quick question regarding astrology or numerology, you can call us right now. So as we have talked about different houses, and I think we have discussed a little bit about introduction, as you just mentioned. So what is the main aim of discussing the houses other than what we have discussed so far?
Every aspect of human life is covered in the 12 houses in astrology. You can name it. Your hair, your body, your finances, your teeth, the food you eat, your partner, your business, your health, your wealth, your happiness, state of mind, parents, children, grandkids, inheritance, intelligence, creativity, the amount you'll travel, the work you'll do, success you'll have in life, everything, left hand, right hand, the foot, palm, calves, everything you can think of, the clothes you wear will be covered by one house or the other. As an astrologer, we have to know which house it is. Mm-hmm. One house can have, you can spend a lifetime learning about the houses. Literally a lifetime. Mm-hmm. Because medical astrology mein kya hota hai? If somebody has an injury on their face, we first look at the first house. Then we also look at the first sign. And then we also look at where Saturn is aspecting. So what I'm trying to get at is if you are familiar with what the house represents, astrology will come easily to you. And what I'm trying to do with this show is, at least today's show, introduce the houses. So you as a listener can simply go online, whether it is my website or somebody else's website, go make your own birth chart. At least see your birth chart and understand, oh, my first house is like this. My life is going to be wonderful or I'll have some challenges in it. आपने यही देखना है. It's very easy.
That's the first step.
That's the first
and
step.
the second step is कि अगर कोई question है वहाँ पे कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा, definitely call करें आपको.
Call us, email us. I'm getting 25 to 30 emails after every show. And that's only increasing. So keep emailing me. Ask me questions you might have. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, definitely. And with your explanation, astrology is becoming more understandable for all of us. I'm sure मुझे आ रही है, listeners को भी समझ में आ रही है और approachable लग रही है. So with that, we have one more caller waiting in line. Can we take the call?
Sure.
Hello, you're on air with Dr. Saket Bhatia. Go ahead with your details.
Hi, Dr. Saket Bhatia. So, my name is Sejal and my birth date is November 8th, 1984.
Just go little slow. November 8th?
1984.
Okay, you're young.
Oh, no, not really.
You could have said yes. You'd be happier.
Yeah, take the compliment. Yeah. Yes, you're young.
I know.
What time?
Okay, thank you. I should say yes. So it's 9:36 a.m. Yeah, 9:36 a.m.
9:46 a.m. And you're
36.
36.
36.
And place of birth?
Mumbai.
She's also from Maharashtra. I am from Mumbai too.
Yes. Yeah. I've been listening to you.
Okay. But you haven't emailed me ever. Okay, so I have your
No,
chart.
No.
Sejal, November
Okay.
8th, 1984, 9:36 in Mumbai.
That's right.
Okay, so you're a Sagittarius ascendant in Vedic astrology. What is your question?
It's
Cut again.
No, no.
settling. Hello.
Yeah, I
Sejal,
can
we
hear
could,
you.
Hello?
yeah, we could not hear you. Can you repeat it?
So my question is regarding settling, like settling as in GC and PR issues are going on. So I would like to know where would I be, like we as a family would be settling, like either in US or somewhere else.
So you're not going back to India. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I know that.
No, I can see in the chart. You're not going
Yeah.
back because your fourth house is not just afflicted. The planets are Rahu ki dasha chal rahi hai, Rahu. And I just said in the show, if I see Venus sitting in the 12th house, you have a life of luxuries. Look at your Navam's chart. Venus is exalted in Pisces. It's a very nice placement. Aapka sun debilitated hai. The sun represents the 5th house. That's okay. 11 mein baith gaya. This is a good time for you to do what you want. You want to move out, you want to stay here, do it now. Your dasha started 13th November 2023, and by 2026 July, good things will happen to you. Your ascendant,
Like we are.
yes,
Uh-huh.
your ascendant
No,
thing
we are
has kicked in.
confused. There are a couple options, so we're confused right now.
No, what are your options?
Like either here or maybe Canada, Australia. There are multiple options, but we don't know yet. Like we are figuring it out.
Rahu ki dasha chal rahi hai. Rahu is exalted. So if you were to leave this country, it would not surprise me at all. This thought of yours, this thought of moving started in November. You will move. And I wish you very well.
Okay. All right.
If you want to wait for your green card stuff, I don't see that happening, and just me, till about 2026 June.
Okay.
So either you wait till 2026 June and say, okay, my dasha has started, I can settle down here. But exalted Rahu is likely going to push you out of the country. And it wouldn't surprise me if you leave. But if you do, good luck. Still listen to the show, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thanks for your call.
So
Ji.
now we'll continue. We'll start with the first house.
Yeah, let's start.
Because वो important हो जाता है, at least people need to understand. First house. So the first house is called Lagna Bhava. Okay. In national zodiac, this would be Aries because zodiac starts with Aries.
Okay.
And ruler of Aries is Mars. Why is ascendant important? I'll tell you why. The key words for this first house is your body and how you project yourself to the world.
Okay.
The first house is your indication to the world how you express yourself, what the world thinks of you, your projection. In Sanskrit, it is called Tanur Bhava.
Okay.
Tanur Bhava literally means the house of the body. Jahan par aapki soul hai, that house, you, Vedika, is, if I were to sum you up in one word, first house. Me, first house. The caller, first house. First house will tell us everything about yourself. Agar aapka first house strong hai, life will be easy. Money will be easy. Success will be good. Fame will be good. Everything will be wonderful for you if you have a good first house. Good first house lord, and good planets in first house will make you very successful. Any problems in the first house will cause problems in life. So we can look at your first house, and if the first house has some strong affliction to it, then it will cause birth problems.
Okay.
If we look at a woman's chart and we see the first house, we can say this could be a C-section you're expecting. Infant mortality is determined by the first house. Okay.
Okay.
How strong you will be, how weak you will be, diseases you'll have, first house. Everything is first house. Okay. On a public level, how you are going to be perceived, your manifestation, your personality. First house also is related with mental disorders.
Okay.
Okay, so literally everything
It's
you can
everything
imagine.
about you.
The sun says who we are. The body is what the first house is. हमने कहा है कि significant first house बहुत important है. If you have a weak first house, your life is going to be challenging. It happens to people. Very difficult.
So weak first house means sitting placement of weak planets.
If you have
there.
two bad planets on either side of the first house and you have a bad planet sitting in the first house, the lord of the first house is, let's say, debilitated and the aspects on the first house are bad, we
all
consider
the
that
bad
to
combination.
be, this is a bad combination.
Ji.
It's not good. Okay, whatever is associated with the first house is what your life is going to go through. Please study your first house very, very carefully. Suppose your first house lord, जो owner है, is placed in 8th house. We can immediately say you will inherit property, or you'll be a good astrologer, or you'll be a good speaker. If that first house goes into the 9th house, your life is going to be focused on spirituality. तो first house का lord कहाँ बैठा है बहुत important होता है. On the converse, whichever planet lord sits in the first house will determine what's going to happen to you. If the 6th house lord disease first में बैठ गया, you're going to be sick. You're going to have weakness throughout your life.
Okay.
9th house lord अगर first में बैठ गया, you're going to be very lucky. 11th, which is house of gains, first में बैठ गया, you're going to make it good. Assume sun, which is ruler of the 10th house, sitting in your first house, you're going to start your own business. You can't work for anybody. First house is critical. First house, indications of the first house. Your personal self, appearance, complexion, body, face, head, character, disposition, overall well-being, health, happiness, longevity, vitality, strength, willpower,
Everything.
dignity, self-esteem, confidence, fame, everything, how your life starts is through this. The Karak is the sun. Karak is significator. The reason I'm explaining Karak is because jahan Karak baithta hai is important, but if Karak sits in its own house, he causes problems. If sun sits in the first house in your chart, loss of hair, weak bones, weak vision,
Okay.
aggressive personality, it will cause some issue there. Karak is never welcome in its own house.
Okay.
For example, Jupiter is the Karak for kids. अगर Jupiter आपके 5th house में बैठ जाता है, you will have some difficulty with your kids.
Okay.
Maybe you'll spend too much time at work, not have enough time for them. Maybe you have unrealistic expectations from your kids. Maybe they don't live up to what you want them to be. Karak should not be sitting in its own house. In general, that's a rule. ये था first house. So at least when listeners can open up their chart and see what their first house is. First house का lord कहाँ बैठा है? Wherever your first house lord sits, that house is going to be very secure in life. If your first house lord sits in 7th, the marriage is going to be very stable. If it sits in 8th, long life. You must know those things. That's the very first line of astrology. Basic premise of astrology for first house.
Okay. So that's where you start from.
You always start by reading the first house. And then you move anti-clockwise for North Indian chart, clockwise for South Indian chart. And then you come to the second house. Second house is what we call wealth and values.
Okay.
It's not just wealth and values, it's much more than that. But I'm specifically saying keywords are wealth and values. Second house is also called Dhan Bhava, which means the house of wealth. Natural zodiac, this would be Taurus. So it has natural.
It should not be in the same house.
No.
Again?
No, the natural zodiac mein this is Taurus, and
Okay,
the
because
ruler
it
of
comes from
Taurus
the-
is Venus.
Venus. Okay.
But the Karak of this is Jupiter.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what this house represents is not just making money. It means gathering money, holding this money, making use of this money wisely. People who make lot of money but don't spend, we can see from this house.
Okay.
This is also the house that relates to our livelihood, your earning capacity. Not just money you make, but your capacity, how you will earn. You know, some people, you give them a gift and they're just like, I don't want it, please take it back, I'm not happy. Those are people with a negative planet sitting in the second house. They don't appreciate things very well, right? It is also related to your face, second house.
Okay.
It's related to your speech. Harsh speech is from the second house.
Okay.
Violent tendencies are in the second house. The kind of food you eat, what you like to taste, is your second house.
Wow.
I know it's-
Everything.
Intellectual capacity for communication is second house. If you have a brilliant planet like Mercury, which is positive in your chart, sitting in your second house, You'll be a good speaker. However, if Mercury is now sitting between two bad planets, aspected by a negative, you'll have a stammering problem.
Yeah. We spoke about it.
Mercury in the second house can make you a good businessman, and you will know how to make money.
Okay.
You will be able to provide for others.
So
Second house.
But that concept is still valid, right? That the Jupiter should not be in the second house.
Jupiter should not be in the second house. Karak will impact only the living thing it is associated with. So we have to figure out what living thing is associated with the second house. In general, second house is related to your relatives.
Okay.
Jupiter sitting will make problems with your relatives.
So relative से नहीं बनेगी.
Not father, not mother, not siblings. Extended relatives.
Extended. Okay.
Not wife, not kids, not husband. Extended relatives के साथ नहीं बनेगी. This second house will show how we express our one money, how we make it, business. अगर आपका Mercury यहाँ बैठा है, अच्छा है, it's a lucky house, it's a good house. Indications of this house are money, wealth, possessions, finances, speech, values, imagination, truthfulness. How honest you're going to be. I always look at this, and if I see, let's say, second house में Mercury है and Mars उसको aspect कर रहा है, you could be very bitter and harsh when you talk. You don't think before you speak.
Okay.
You hurt people. Another thing is gems, jewelry, people that love those kind of things, they have good placements of Venus in the second house.
Okay.
Venus is a luxury planet. Second house is gems, jewelry. So if you have that, you will have a natural affinity towards it. But second house is also called a marka, killer house. In astrology हम क्या कहते हैं, जब second और seventh house की दशा आती है, then it can cause death.
Okay.
I'll tell you why, because 8th house is a death house. 8 से 11 घर दूर is the 7th house.
Okay.
Right? Or 7 से 8 घर दूर is the second house.
Second.
So second or seventh, don't take it very seriously. It doesn't mean if your second and seventh dashas come, you're going to die. It's just a concept, okay? There are
It
many
might
more
hurt
factors.
you.
It might hurt you. Second house का जो lord होता है, he is considered neutral. He will always give the results of the other house he owns. I know this is beyond the scope of today's conversation, but it is what it is. When you look at the lord, या उसकी दशा चल रही है, वो second house का result नहीं देता. You must look at the other house he owns. That cumulative benefit will be given to the second house as well.
It's too much calculation. How
It's actually
how you do it?
So any astrologer जो बोलता है it's calculation is wrong. It's analysis. There is
It's
a difference
analysis.
between calculation and analysis.
Okay.
Calculation software will tell me 17 degrees, 34% strength. It is the analysis that matters. Calculation.
Which house, which planet,
अगर
looking
आप-
at what?
अगर आप calculation कर रहे हो, then you're going to make a big mistake.
Okay.
Analyze it correctly. There's subtle difference between the two, right?
Right.
So hopefully we know two houses now. We should move on to third
Yes.
house.
Okay.
Unless you want to take a call, that's fine. But
Yeah, there was call, but yeah, let's just finish this.
let's try third house. So in a natural zodiac, this would be Aries, Taurus, Gemini, the third house. Ruler Gemini is Mercury.
Okay.
Keywords are courage, hobbies, younger siblings.
Okay.
The third house is related to your friends, social circle. If you have a big friend circle, we'll see something like Rahu sitting there.
Okay.
If you have big presence on social media, you want to make it big, we should see Rahu there. We should see a good aspect there, or the Lord very well placed. How you act in public is your third house.
Okay.
आपके छोटे भाई बहन के साथ रिलेशन कैसे होंगे? It's your third
Third
house.
house.
The courage you have to do things, to speak up, is your third house. Third house is important because it's also hobbies in life. Now think, 12th house is house of loss, expense. Agar third house, which is your house of hobbies or younger siblings, is sitting in your 12th house, you will spend a lot of money on your hobbies. Or you will spend a lot of money on your younger siblings, or you will spend a lot of money on your friends. Easy as that.
Yeah.
Simple.
It'll come in the combination.
Many astrologers will look and say, third lord 12वें में बैठा है, you're going to spend. Big mistake is, it is based on what we call dignity of planets. हमारे आयवान ने अच्छा आर्टिकल लिखा है इस पे. When I say article, it's a 480-page article, which talks about how the dignity impacts placement of planets. 10th lord placed in first does not mean anything. If it's in good dignity, one thing, bad dignity, another. If it's with a good aspect and planet, one thing, bad aspect planet another. So there are multiple permutations, combinations. Don't just go for one step and say this is it. So third house, it is the motivation of your mind. People do dangerous things with relation to the third house. Criminals, third house. Aggressive action, third house. Third house also describes your mental abilities, learning. First house, you're born. Second house is like preschool. Third house is your actual schooling.
Okay.
How you grow up in your environment, relations you will have with parents and other relatives around you. It's all here. Short-term travel, short-term communication is third house. जो Uber चलाते हैं या जो Lyft चलाते हैं, this is called short-term communication. We might see some connection between that and the 10th house. Short-term trips
Okay.
is concerned. So when people ask me, I'm thinking of making a visit, we look at the third house. If there is an aspect on it, we know you're going to be traveling. This is also the house of, like I said, energy, courage, boldness, desires, vitality, enthusiasm, singing, voice, acting. You're an RJ, you're passionate about radio. You must have a very strong influence on your third house or a strong third house lord, because this is your hobby. You did not do it from force. You did not do it because somebody held the gun on your head and said, you got to do it. You
No,
did it
not
because
at
you
all.
enjoy doing it.
Yes.
Now, if you don't enjoy doing this, then there would be a negative aspect on the third house, which would still sit in the 10th. So you're making a career out of your hobbies, modeling, acting. Third house is very important there. It tells us what you're going to do. Poets, जो poetries लिखते हैं, जो किताबें लिखते हैं, very strong third house. Because this is your house of creativity as well. Not just fifth, it is also your intelligence here.
Okay.
Ability to organize things, third house. Adventure, third house. Enjoying life. So, third house is a Dushtana house. It's a suffering house.
Why?
But only very slightly. Chota sa.
Okay.
It is primarily an Upachay house. Things grow over time. We just explained that. Expenses are ruled by 12th, but third or 12th का अगर conjunction हो गया तो you might spend a lot of money.
On hobbies.
We know people जो hobbies पे इतना खर्चा करते हैं that
Yeah.
they end up losing a lot of money.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Now we'll go on to the next house, the fourth house. Because we'll try stopping at fourth because it's a lot to digest.
Okay.
Okay, the fourth house is also called Sukh Bhava, house of happiness.
Happiness.
Why is fourth house important? It's related to Cancer and Moon.
Okay.
Right? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Fourth is Cancer, and Cancer का ruler होता है Moon.
Moon.
Now, the key important keywords here are fourth house, your home, your property, your mother, and your mental and emotional happiness.
Okay.
ये हम चौथे घर से देखते हैं. So in astrology, when we want to study your mother, we study for the fourth house. अगर आपका moon fourth house में बैठा है, it's a karak. It can impact your mother. Maybe you will be distant from your mother. Maybe your mother's health won't be good. There'll be something to do with your mother out there because the karak is sitting in its own house.
Yeah.
We don't want that. So fourth house is your house of happiness. When you finally leave this radio station and you go home, it is your place for your happiness, you unwind.
I'm happy here too.
No, I understand, but ये आपका 10th house हो गया.
जी.
वो उल्टा घर है, fourth house.
जी.
तो fourth house is where you feel completely secure. You know, it's your surrounding. It's where you can control. It is where you have emotional happiness. Fourth house is also your ability to acquire land, property, घर है, cars, vehicles. This is your fourth house. So people who are looking to buy a house, we look at transits on the fourth house. We look at the lord of the fourth house कहाँ aspect कर रहा है. And sometimes क्या होता है, if it's a planet like Saturn, which is aspecting your fourth house, or the lord, he will delay, but he'll give you a lot of property. I know people who are going to get multiple houses in a short period of time, just a matter of time. Patience चाहिए. On the psychological level, again, it's a subconscious drive. It relates to our capacity to rest and relax, because fourth house में लोग rest करते हैं, right? अगर यहाँ पर कोई गलत aspect हो, then it creates a significant problem both emotionally and physically for you.
Okay.
Okay, spirituality wise, this house is very important. Okay, it indicates one thing about the fourth house which is important is 10th is right on top, fourth is below. So it's the hidden part of your life. which is not clearly visible in the 4th house.
Okay.
So indications of the 4th house are mother, happiness, contentment. Your heart is controlled by the 4th house. Heart attacks and all, we study from the 4th house.
Oh.
Happiness, fixed assets, paternal house and property from 4th house.
Okay.
Comfort, luxury, cars, boats, planes. Formal education is 4th house. So while moon might do well formal education for you, it will hurt the mother. Academic education, the close of life, how life will end for you, 4th house.
Wow.
Okay. Now इसके दो कारक होते हैं, moon and Mercury, not just one. Mercury also because it's primarily business related. So if you have Mercury here, it might create some problems in your business. 4th is an angular house. The lord of the 4th is considered to be good. We want this to be a negative planet, like Saturn. We want it to be a bad planet because bad planets that own angular houses don't give bad results. Good planets, when they own angular houses, they lose a lot of their strength.
Okay.
तो ये भी rules है. These are the beauty of astrology is जो rules हैं, you can't go back and ask किसने लिखे.
Right.
But this is what it is. It
Yeah.
works and it works very well. So we've explained 4 houses to you today. Next week we'll step further and explain some other houses.
We'll do revision.
Well, I'll ask you questions then.
I know that was coming to me.
So it's important when you get out of this show today, at least go back, look at your chart, look at your different houses. Because this is how I interpret houses. This is how I study houses. This is how I've learned. We have spent years in school. We've spent years analyzing charts. And quite frankly, I have looked at over 40,000 charts in my life, even more than that.
Wow.
Just last night, I was looking at some unique charts of people and rules I had never imagined. It's fall from grace. Nahi pata tha. We're coming to know what those rules are because somebody in our association published an article. See, every day we're getting these, so we're learning too. And we
So
can
that-
apply these. This is important.
Astrology is evolving as well.
It is evolving, yes.
So listeners, आप सुन रहे हैं the Saket Bhatia Astrology Show and we are almost out of the time, but we'll be back next Tuesday 4 to 5 p.m. Don't forget to tune in. You don't have to wait till Tuesday to get connected with Dr. Saket Bhatia. आप directly call कीजिए उन्हें 408-639-5300. Once again, the number to call Dr. Saket Bhatia directly is 408-639-5300 or write to him info@saketbhatia.com. In fact, definitely write to him for your Varshfal at info@saketbhatia.com and do give your date, time and place of birth when you're writing regarding Varshfal. और नहीं तो उनकी वेबसाइट पे आपको सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगी उनसे रिलेटेड, which is saketbhatia.com. With that, this is RJ Vedika signing off. Thank you so much for being on air with us today.
Thank you. I hope to
And-
see you next week.
Definitely. Listeners, सुन रहे हैं आप रेडियो जिंदगी, बने रहिए यहीं पे. RJ Swati is coming with a surprise.
You are listening to Radio Zindagi, KZDG 1550 AM, San Francisco and the entire Bay Area.
5 p.m. time check.
This time check is brought to you by multichoiceinsurance.com, your trusted partner for life and group medical insurance. For more details, call 855-444-MCIS.
The views, opinions, and statements expressed in the preceding program reflect views of the program contributors and do not necessarily reflect the views of Fremont Broadcasting, LLC, its management, or its sponsors.
आरव बेटा डिनर में और कुछ? हाँ मम्मा, 1 more रोटी प्लीज.
मम्मा मी टू.
काव्या, बच्चे रोटी मांग रहे हैं. लास्ट टाइम जब मैं आई थी तो ब्रेड की ही डिमांड थी. सो व्हाट इज दिस मैजिक? माँ, दिस इज सुजाता